Hello, my name is Talika Kirkland and I'm the Creative Director of the Costume Institute of the African Diaspora, CIAD for short. This year, CIAD is holding its first major project entitled Tartan, Its Journey Through the African Diaspora. The project has three main outcomes: an exhibition, a dance performance and this documentary you're about to see. What we wanted to do with the project is tell the hidden history of how tartan changed into madras and influenced different fabrics around Africa and the African diaspora. It's not really a story of what colonialism brought to people, it's more a story of what was left after colonialism, or what colonialism influenced, and how the people it was left with did something amazing with the influence.
Hi, I'm Darshni. I'm one of the research assistants in CIAD.
Hello, my name is Owen Lewis.
Hi, my name's Georgia. I'm one of the exhibition assistants working on Tartan, A Journey Through the African Diaspora.
To help with the development of our project, we selected a certain number of young people to be project assistants. We put ads out on arts websites, newsletters, local newspapers, on our website to try and recruit young people between the ages of 16 and 24 who would be interested in putting a project together. The idea was not just to give young people a taste of putting on an exhibition, but it was really about giving them the experience of putting on a whole project. So it was also about event management, it was also about developing websites, it was also about trying to get out there and engage the public to find out as much as possible about our exhibition, our project, our dance performance and the development of our documentary.
I got the interview and I was so happy because I thought there would be a lot of people and they selected me, so I went to the interview and it went well. So when I got a call back that I had been offered the role of a project assistant, I was so happy because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a whole new experience and everything.
I am from a place called Madras, which is now currently known as Chennai, so I was really excited to be a part of this exhibition. It has a lot to do with the place where I am from and the place I am in right now, so it felt like history was repeating itself.
Our initial research trip to Scotland is that we firstly fly to Edinburgh and we need to catch a train to Stirling. So Brian Wilton, the head of the Scottish Tartan Authority, he welcomed us there and catch us to Perth. And then we went to the head office of the Scottish Tartan Authority, and what can I say is that man literally breathes tartan, like he lives for tartan and he knows so much about it.
It's always difficult to define a tartan, but in the simplest of terms, a minimum of two colours woven in a pattern, weft and warp so that they're at right angles to each other. And that's it in its simplest form. Earliest tartan ever discovered was found on mummified bodies in the Chinese desert, and that was dated to 750 to 1200 BC.
Okay.
Now those bodies were not Asian bodies, they were Caucasian bodies. They were tall. The man whom the very early tartan was found on was 6'3", he had a long nose and he had brown hair. So he was a Caucasian, and we're fairly sure he was a Celt. There is a huge grey area in when is a tartan not a tartan. Now the majority of tartans are symmetrical, i.e. they're like a kitchen tile, that the pattern of the tartan comprises one tile, and the cloth in the width and the length is a whole series of tiles put together across and vertically. There are tartans which are asymmetrical. The The other rule is really an unofficial one, and it's one that I've brought in over the years, is that for something to be a tartan, it needs to have meaning.
So the next stage of the process that I'm looking forward to is a series of costume mounting workshops with an instructor from the V&A. I'm really excited about those, and I'll let you know how they go.
And I was called to assist the mounting of the costumes that will be exhibited. I'm pretty excited.
It actually helped the project assistants learn how to mount costumes and how to build up the body of a mannequin so that the costumes would fit perfectly and that they would look as if they were actually occupied by real bodies. This workshop was run by Gisa Werner, who's a freelance costume maker who works a lot with the textile department in the V&A, and Susanna Fajardo, who's a textile conservator from the V&A.
Well, it needs to have a good support, otherwise it would collapse. So you have to find the right balance to create underpinnings and things, but not make it look like a big, huge, puffy thing.
You have to pull the pad in because it creates a smoother edge, so that each piece that you add on will flow onto the other one rather than to leave a cut edge. A cut edge would leave you with something like this. So here, it would go like this, which will make a bump, more of a bump than if you pull it at the bottom. So it just moves down and becomes part of the garment, part of the mannequin.
Day 2 of our first weekend of the costume mounting workshop. This is our first weekend, and we have a 5-week schedule of costume mounting. And it's going really well. We've had 6 people so far for the workshop, and there's quite good progress that's been made so far, so we're really happy.
I do the playlist for the opening night, so at the moment when I'm not here I'm kind of going through a huge stack of music, thinking about what would be appropriate, and which has been really cool.
Okay, so I've been trying to find a particular type of tartan from South Africa, and it's been really difficult to find. It's a tartan that's worn by the women of the Shembe Church in Durban, and I've gone to almost every kilt maker and tartan manufacturer and supplier in London, and I've rang Brian at the Tartan Authority in Scotland, and it just doesn't seem to be available anywhere. I'm also going to go to the last couple of kilt makers that I found in London. One is Mackenzie's of Piccadilly, and another one is Albion Highland, which is in Kennington, just to see if they have anything even slightly similar that might be able to help. If we can't find anything from there, then I don't know, I guess I'll have to make something. But I'm off to Mackenzie's of Piccadilly now to see if we can get any joy.
One of the most interesting, unusual things that this project has taught me is about the history of tartan, which is something that I'd never really known about before. So I've been learning about the British soldiers who brought tartan to India, where it was developed into a lighter cotton fabric called madras.
This is the first time that the Black Watch were in India in the late 18th century. You can see in this print here that depicts, I think it's either the 74th or the 75th Highland Regiment that were wearing tartan out there. So that would have been, to the best of my knowledge, that was the first time that the British Army wearing tartan would have been out there. Bearing in mind that the Highland Regiments were only raised in 1725, that's when they were wearing tartan, and then this was one of the first campaigns serving out in India.
The Highland pageantry of 1822 increased the enthusiasm for tartan and tartan-style patterns and had a lasting influence on the British in India, which in turn had an impact on the development and production of madras fabric. By the middle of the 19th century, kilt-wearing British Highland regiments were occupying and fighting campaigns in India in large numbers, while Scottish traders had also started conducting business there. It is a combination of these factors which established the development of what is now known as Madras fabric.
When it comes to Madras tartans, I have seen designs, but I don't know that they're Madras.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen the fabric.
Right.
Now I've got a dozen or more tartans that I have actually put into our database that I've seen on Maasai tribesmen. And they have been tartans, they have been asymmetrical, they've been simple. I've got no idea where they came from. So I don't think we would be registering Madras as such, but we would still keep a record of them. And if there was any history, you were to say this particular Madras tartan comes from this part of India, then we would certainly record that. The thinking on tartan having to be wool has been very common until very recently. And there was a Scottish parliamentary bill, there was an Act of Parliament to establish the official Scottish Tartan Register, and it was there that people started, politicians said, well, what is tartan? Now the industry in Scotland tried to say it must be woven in wool, and I, as director of the Tartans Authority and one of the initiators of the idea of having a parliamentary act to protect tartan, or to protect the records of tartan, I was absolutely adamant that that was not the case. Tartan is a design. It can be on the side of a bus, on the side of an aircraft. It so happens that the commonest way of representing a tartan is to weave it. But that does not mean that tartan that's printed on this cup, on these other cups, doesn't mean to say those aren't tartans.
This is a lungi, I'm going to show you how to wrap it. First you just get in, it's like a pillowcase.
Hold it wide enough. Crisscross it over your waist.
You tie it and you do a double knot. You can wear it like this. This is the way the men usually wear it.
Have a traditional lungi.
You could make it shorter as well, so you do the exact same thing. And you do a double knot. Just puff it out, and that's a lungi.
Hello, my name is Suzette Rocker and I'm the choreographer, and I am about to start the rehearsals for our dance, which will wrap the exhibition. The dance is going to be called Crossing Cultures.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be working on the project, and the main important thing that really got me really excited is the costume aspect as well.
Awesome first rehearsal. The movement is so intricate. It's actually, to look at it you think, okay, it's fine, it's simple, but when you actually do it and all different counts and different body parts, it's really, really intricate.
Now we've done our first rehearsal and I think it's gone very well. We finished the first dance and it was a bit of a mental nightmare, but we got through it. Yay!
Hello, my name is Georgia. I work as a
Branch assistants also had a couple of workshops that involved them learning about filmmaking and storytelling.
It was a really witty, humorous, informative, hands-on session. I learned a lot about how to make a documentary. This was my first time, going anywhere near a documentary. I've never done this before. I've never handled a camera. I've never been, on camera. It was partly a nerve-wracking experience, and it was partly great. Learning something new was a lot of fun. So during the workshop, all the research assistants we paired up and we made video logs of each other. Later, it was a 30 or a 40-second video, and later we showed it to Barrington. So he told us, this works, this doesn't work, maybe you should do this, oh, this was great.
Yeah, actually up the camera.
Right.
I just told you the funniest joke. My trousers are just falling down. Oh, they stopped laughing now.
During the British colonisation of India, the popularity and the demand for lightweight cotton goods increased, and Madras cotton was shipped to all corners of the British Empire, including the Caribbean and the USA. Madras became a popular, colourful choice amongst the enslaved and free men and women that could be worn on Sundays and special occasions. Although the production of Madras has its apex in India, the influence of Scotland is still pervasive. As the Scottish clans adopted particular tartans to represent themselves, the Caribbean countries that use Madras in their national dress all used a different style and colour of the fabric to represent their islands. The island of St. Lucia has even named their national costume after the fabric. Therefore, it could be considered that Madras fabric has become a sort of Caribbean tartan.
The head wrap workshop was one of my favourite workshops because it was just so fun, and I've always loved the way people tie the head wraps on their hair, so it was nice to learn, and I learned a lot of different ways to tie it on myself and other people.
So what does these three mean? It means your heart is taken.
It means you're taken.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah? So if you want to, you guys have and twist. And twist until it's really tight. So enslaved Africans came over with enslaved Africans. It's predominantly and exclusively feminine accessory, like I said. It's my favourite. To me, it reflects the essence of our African roots. It is made from a moderately starched Madras square and is tied on the head by the wearer when required. It was worn with a semi-formal duet. I haven't cracked my skin ever managed to do that.
Why is that?
Time for a selfie.
One of the first workshops that we had for the project assistants was a photography workshop. This was run in conjunction with the photo shoot for our promotional material. It was run by Vicky Ellis, who is a freelance photographer and photography tutor, and it basically involved her getting the students to understand how to use their camera phones.
One workshop that I really enjoyed was the photography workshop. I really liked using whatever technology was available to take photos and capture different things, to think about objects through a lens.
Which was really fun to learn about the different ways that I can improve the quality of the photos I'm taking with my iPhone. And that's been really helpful in taking pictures of people wearing tartan on the street for CIAD's Tartan Street Style blog.
The website management workshop was conducted by Richard. He was absolutely great. He was really patient. He was really kind to all of us because he knew we were in computer geeks and he didn't, tax us with details. He taught us how to manage a website, how to add blogs, pictures, videos, and how it is important to credit somebody else if you're copy pasting from the web and so on and so forth.
I am on my way to the Black Watch Museum in Perth in Scotland. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to pick up the uniform so that Gisa and Susanna can mount it onto the mannequin this weekend. I am currently in Luton Airport. I'm going on my own this time, and the trolley is to pick up boxes. There's lots of little boxes for the bonnet and the sash and things like that, which will go on the trolley. The other two, there will be 2 other boxes that will contain the kilt and the jacket, and they need to be kept flat. So I shall be travelling back to London on the train.
And
There's a hole under here where when they were in battle they would put their ends in.
That's amazing. Just the box is amazing.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Wow. It's like some kind of gas mask or something. Then I will let you know how I get on with trying to manhandle 2 rather large boxes and a wheelie trolley from Scotland onto a bus, onto a taxi, onto a train, and then from Euston Station into a taxi and home.
The Maasai are a people who live in East Africa in an area of land that straddles the border of Kenya and Tanzania and is commonly known as Maasai land. For many years, the Maasai wore animal skins or cotton body wraps known as shukas permeated with animal fat and terracotta. However, around the 1960s, the shukas became bright red and woven out of acrylic. Many of the shukas tend to have a bold check pattern which has a striking resemblance to tartan sets.
And then, as so often with textile traditions in Eastern and Southern Africa, a family of Indian heritage was producing these cloths for the Maasai in particular, and started sketching basically plaid designs, not particularly tartan. This guy in Nairobi was given a book of Scottish tartans, which is why they became, in later years, very specifically particular tartans.
However, in South Africa, the main influence on the tartan fabric worn by members of the Nazarite Shembe Church is slightly different.
One of the main influences in Southern Africa seems to have been during the Anglo-Zulu Wars, when, I guess for the first time, the Zulu came up against Highland soldiers in the British Army, wearing kilts. It seems that the Zulu kind of identified, although these were their enemy, and they were part of this colonizing missionary force, if you like, they also identified with them as people who themselves had been kind of colonized by the Brits.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film inside Mackenzie's, but they didn't have the tartans, and so I'm wondering whether I should just make it myself. God, I don't know. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and see what I can come up with. So I've just got back from Brixton, where I went and bought some wool, and I'm going to try and see if I can paint the tartan pattern onto this wool, and see how that looks.
So we finished our costume arting workshop, which lasted for 5 weekends. I think it really shifted our expectations, because in the beginning we didn't know what exactly to expect, because none of the volunteers has ever had any experience in this area. But the workshop was provided by 2 curators from the V&A, so we had an amazing experience and really learned a lot. So this is my mannequin, and she's going to be wearing a karaoke costume at an exhibition. So it's completely padded and shaped to the costume.
The other elements, like the filmmaking, photography, the promotion, obviously they're all going towards the final exhibition, but with this you can really see it taking shape. It's really satisfying that every day that we worked on the mannequins you could see them progressing. Yeah, I guess I just never realised all the tiny little elements that have to go into making these mannequins perfect, like attaching the arms. The head is really difficult because of the curved surface, making the shoulder pads so that the costume sits right. Yeah, just making it as sort of human as possible so that the costume sits in a way that is realistic and has some kind of movement as opposed to just hanging on the form.
One of the first workshops that our project assistants got involved with was the Glamorous Waist workshop. This was in collaboration with Vivienne Westwood designers and members of the UN who had been working with Vivienne Westwood on their Africa project for the past 5 years. They came and gave a lecture demonstration showing us many bags that were used and made out of recycled materials. This really helped with the remit of using recycled materials to develop tartan patterns, which is what we wanted for the Glamorous Waste workshop in particular.
In the beginning, people asked us, well, you do these bags out of recycled materials, they should kind of cost nothing, shouldn't they? Because rubbish costs nothing. But that's really not true, because in Africa, everything has a value. So I can show you a couple of bags we've done with them. So we've done leopards.
Yeah. Is that beaded?
It's beaded.
They've been getting very hands-on with designing their own tartans. I think they found it really interesting to look back at their national identities and using that to shape the tartan patterns. So they've been getting really hands-on with the colours, designing loads of different stages of development with their tartan patterns and sort of pushing it forward into the final design phase, which they've been really, really loving.
I think that the setting of an exhibition was one of my favourite parts of the project, because it was really interesting to be part of a progress from the very beginning to the very end, and to see the process of turning an empty white space to a proper exhibition setting. We had some worries about whether the exhibition would actually fit into the exhibition space, because the exhibition which was held at the space before was on furniture, and so all the space was occupied by the objects. So it really felt quite small. And on the other hand, we had a studio with mountain mannequins, and it was of an absolutely different shape. It was quite long and narrow, so it felt absolutely different, and we were really worried that our mannequins won't be able to fit into that exhibition space. But when we came there and started setting up, we realized that there is nothing to actually be worried about, because it just fit there perfectly.
So to bring all of that together and to bring it here into the centre of London to all of you guys and to try and tell this story is really amazing for me, because to bring it here has been something that I've only envisioned in my mind. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you kind of think about it and you think, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be amazing? Oh, I wonder what if? And then you see it live and all these people standing here and you're like, bloody hell, here it is. So you know what, thank you all for coming.
We've worked so hard, so many months, just to see it all visualised, the exhibition, the music, the dancers, the bongo player, and
It's been wonderful. It's been lovely to see all the costumes installed and to see everyone enjoying them for their first time. People's first reactions to seeing the costumes has been amazing. The dancing has been lovely, and the drumming and the drum playing came together in a way that I never thought it would. So it's been wonderful.
It's been really amazing. It was more than I could have anticipated. Just everyone who came and seeing all the smiling faces and well wishes and just seeing the exhibition actually come together has been, when you actually sit down and you design something and you see it actually in realization, it's almost like I don't want to say a dream because that sounds cliched, but it is. You know, it really is. So it's been an amazing evening. People are still milling around. People are fascinated by the history. They can't actually believe that there's a correlation between all of these things, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to understand. That's the whole point of this. I wanted people to understand that there was this story that had never been told. So it's been really great. It's been more than I could have anticipated.
Personally, I have to say I feel quite humble to see or to have seen the process of everybody that had been joining the process, because of all the dedication that everybody brought in, we eventually ended up with great mannequins and greatly mounted costumes.
A message we hope people take away from this is that despite tartan being one of Scotland's clear cultural emblems, this project has highlighted that the history of Scotland and the history of the African diaspora is intrinsically linked. We hope people have learnt about the creativity and ingenuity African people have developed with the remnants of colonialism, but most of all, we hope people have enjoyed engaging with this information as much as we've enjoyed putting it together.
And it's also been lovely to see a project kind of from start to finish. So I've had lovely experiences in each of the workshops that we've done, but I've also been able to see this kind of cumulative effect of everything coming together, and being part of the costume mounting and installation process means that I've been able to see each little bit of the exhibition as it started into place, which has been lovely.
The journey entirely has been great because I don't know ABCs of how to make a website, now I do. I don't know how to write blogs, now I do. I don't know how to take pictures, now I do. And I can make video logs. So I was better than where I was 8 months back.
The experience of putting this project together has been a lot of energy and has been quite exhausting really, but it's been a massive learning curve for me and the rest of the CIAD team. We've met some incredible people and some amazing opportunities have come out of those meetings. It's been really great to meet the project assistants and work with them over the past 9 months. And we've made some firm friends, and hopefully it will take us on to do bigger and better things into the future. I just had the most loveliest Jamaica, which I might put on my t-shirt.